The reason for this lies with the gut microbiome, the bacteria in your intestines. Your microbiome is nourished by meals like this, rich in one type of dietary fiber called resistant starch. Resistant starch can't be digested by your body, but instead becomes food for your gut bacteria.
Now, before that, let me reiterate on one topic or that definition. Microbiome, again, I am reiterating, microbiome are trillions of cells, which are bacteria, which are yeast, fungi, which are viruses, which are archaea type of microorganisms, which are primitive cells, unicellular organisms, which are either anaerobic or aerobic. When I say anaerobic and aerobic, it means aerobic ka matlab hai कि they can produce their food or produce energy without needing oxygen, that is anaerobic and aerobic. And aerobic means these can produce food or energy only when they have oxygen. So aerobics are oxygen dependent, anaerobics are oxygen independent. Okay, इसको ध्यान रखिए, ये एक important definition को. And there is one more thing. There is a type of microorganism or group of microorganisms which can function in both the ways or can survive in both the conditions, that is aerobic conditions and anaerobic conditions. Aerobic conditions, that is where you have oxygen, and anaerobic conditions, in the absence of oxygen, they can still survive, they can still produce ATP, that is the energy molecule. Okay, these bacteria are very dangerous because they can stay in any environments. They are called facultative anaerobes. They are called facultative anaerobes. अपने पेट में, हमारे large intestine में, there are many facultative anaerobes which are useful, which are non-harmful to larger extent. But just as something that you should know, I'm telling you, if you go to the OT, if you go to the ER, most of the acute infections are caused by facultative anaerobes. E. coli naam suna hai, right? Escherichia coli. That is a facultative anaerobe. What does it mean? It can stay in an ecosystem, stay in your body at such places where there is very less blood supply, and still they can survive and at the same time multiply. Second, what they do is they can use up the oxygen in that particular area where they are surviving. So what happens is, agar oxygen wahan pe kam ho raha hai, so there is something called ROS, which I'll come to that later, probably end of the day or maybe next Sunday. Okay, ROS naam ka ek cheez hai, which if it is there, it will be useful for us. It will be something that they affect in a sense, अपना immune system को वो खराब कर देता है, वो nullify कर देता है. It will not be in the radar of your immune system. So what happens is, there is no one stopping it. It will grow infinitesimally. तो आपने ये जो कोरोना देखा है, कोरोना जाता है, ठक 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 बढ़ जाता है, 2 दिन में डायरेक्टली आपका हाल ICU में, right? That is called facultative anaerobes. Now अपने पेट में there are both. There are all three. Aerobics hai, that is with oxygen they can produce ATP and multiply. There are anaerobes, without oxygen they can do. And third, there are bacteria or there are microorganisms which can thrive in both the conditions, with whether there is oxygen or whether there is no oxygen, they can still survive and multiply.
Most starch is easily digested. Starch is dissolved in the small intestine and then absorbed by your body, providing you with energy and nutrients.
What you see here is the small intestine.